Welcome back to my channel, Pocket Change Coins. If you're excited about finding hidden gems in your pocket change, you're in the right place. First, we're going to uncover some of the most valuable and rare US coins that could be worth a fortune. Let's dive in. The 1944 United States wheat penny. Now, at first glance, it may seem like just another penny, but trust me, this little coin packs a punch when it comes to its potential value. By the end of this video, you'll see why this coin is so much more than just a 1-cent piece. Let's take a moment to rewind to the year 1944. The United States was in the midst of World War II, and the world was changing fast. The country was fully engaged in the war effort, and resources were being rationed. During this time, the U.S. Mint was busy producing millions of coins, including the famous wheat penny, which had been in circulation since 1909. The wheat penny was known for its iconic design, on the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's portrait, and on the reverse, 2 stalks of wheat surrounding the words, 1 cent. The 1944 wheat penny was minted at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the D mint mark on the coin. This particular year is noteworthy because it falls in the middle of World War II when the U.S. government was facing copper shortages due to the war effort. As a result, the mint switched to using steel for the production of pennies in 1943. But in 1944, the copper shortage was no longer a major issue, and the mint returned to using copper for the pennies, producing them in the usual material once again. Now, let's talk about the rarity and value of the 1944 wheat penny. Even though millions of these pennies were minted, over 430 million to be exact, what makes this particular coin so intriguing is its potential for finding rare specimens, particularly ones in exceptional condition or those with minting errors. Most of the 1944 wheat pennies that you come across will likely show signs of heavy circulation, scratches, wear, and discoloration from being used in everyday transactions. However, there are rare examples out there that have survived the years in near-perfect condition. Coins that were never circulated and remain in mint state condition are considered highly desirable by collectors. The better the condition, the higher the value, but there's more to the 1944 wheat penny than just its condition. The key to its true value lies in the rarity of error coins. Throughout the history of coin production, the U.S. Mint has made its fair share of mistakes, and some of these errors are worth far more than a regular coin. One of the most famous errors on the 1944 wheat penny is the steel penny error. You see, even though the U.S. Mint returned to using copper for the 1944 pennies, some steel planchets from the previous year's production still managed to slip through the cracks and were mistakenly struck with the 1944 dies. These steel pennies are extremely rare and highly sought after by collectors. If you happen to find a 1944 wheat penny that looks a little off-color, perhaps showing a silvery hue instead of the usual copper tone, it could be one of these incredibly rare steel penny errors. This would instantly increase its value, as these errors are extremely valuable in the world of numismatics. Another error to watch out for on the 1944 wheat penny is the double die error, where the design of the coin appears doubled in some areas, such as the date, the word liberty, or even the motto, "In God We Trust." A double die error can make a coin much more valuable because it's a mistake that only happened during the striking process. This error is highly prized by collectors, especially when found on a coin like the 1944 wheat penny. Now, you might be asking, how much could a 1944 wheat penny be worth? While most of the 1944 coins in circulation are only worth their face value of 1 cent, some of the rarer examples can fetch mind-blowing prices. For a 1944 wheat penny in mint state condition, you might be looking at a value anywhere from $10 to $50, depending on its exact grade. But what about those rare error coins, like the steel pennies or those with double die errors? Well, that's where things get exciting. One particularly rare 1944 steel penny with an error recently sold for a staggering $560,000. Yes, you heard that right, $560,000 for a single penny. It's hard to believe, but in the world of rare coins, anything is possible. A coin that's over 70 years old, with a simple mistake in its production, can end up being worth a small fortune to the right buyer. So, what should you look for when inspecting your own 1944 D wheat pennies? First, check the overall condition of the coin. If it's still in great shape and hasn't been worn down too much, you might be holding onto a valuable specimen. Next, carefully examine the color of the coin. If it looks like it's made of steel rather than copper, you could have found one of those elusive steel penny errors. Finally, take a close look at the date, the lettering, and other parts of the coin for any signs of a double die error. If you spot any doubling, you could be in luck. To wrap it up, the 1944 D wheat penny is a prime example of how a small, seemingly insignificant coin can turn into a collector's dream. Whether it's a rare minting error, a perfectly preserved coin in mint condition, or just a lucky find, the value of these pennies can be truly remarkable. Second rare coin, we're talking about a true gem in the world of US currency, the 1945 D wheat penny. While this coin might look like just another penny at first glance, it has the potential to be worth a whole lot more than you'd expect. Stick around to the end of this video to learn just how much the 1945 D wheat penny could be worth today. Let's set the stage by going back to 1945. The United States was finishing up the final year of World War II, and the country was recovering from the tremendous economic and human costs of the war. During this time, the U.S. Mint was busy producing millions of coins, including the famous wheat penny. The wheat penny, which had been in circulation since 1909, features the iconic design of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side and two stalks of wheat surrounding the words, 1 cent, on the reverse. The 1945 D wheat penny, which was minted at the Denver Mint, is an interesting coin for a couple of reasons. While the United States had faced a copper shortage during the war, by 1945, the mint was back to producing pennies made from copper. As the minting of these pennies was ramped up to meet the demands of post-war America, millions of 1945 D wheat pennies flooded into circulation. Now, let's talk about the value and rarity of this coin. While most of the 1945 D wheat pennies in circulation today are worth only their face value of 1 cent, there are certain factors that can make them incredibly valuable, particularly those that have survived the years in excellent condition. As with most coins, the value of the 1945 D wheat penny depends largely on its condition. Most of the coins you'll come across in everyday collections or coin rolls have been in circulation for decades, meaning they're likely to have significant wear and tear. However, well-preserved coins, especially those that are uncirculated, are a whole different story. Uncirculated coins, meaning they have never been used in commerce and are in nearly perfect condition, can command far higher prices than coins that have been circulated, but it's not just about condition. In the world of coin collecting, certain minting errors can elevate a coin's value even further. These errors, which occur during the production process, can make a coin extremely rare and highly sought after by collectors. For the 1945 D wheat penny, some of the most valuable specimens are those with double die errors. A double die error happens when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly during the minting process, creating a design with a noticeable doubling effect on certain parts of the coin. For example, you might notice the date or the word Liberty appearing twice on the coin, which is a clear indicator of a double die error. Another error to keep an eye out for is off-center strikes. These occur when the die doesn't align perfectly with the coin, causing the design to be struck off-center. Off-center coins are often unique and have a special place in the hearts of collectors. If you find a 1945 D wheat penny with one of these errors, it could be worth much more than a standard coin. The key to finding these valuable coins is having an eye for detail. When you're going through your coin collection or searching through change, take a moment to really study the 1945 D wheat pennies you come across. Look closely for signs of minting errors, unusual markings, or anything that stands out. Even the slightest imperfection could mean that you've stumbled upon something special. But let's get to the part you've been waiting for. How much can a 1945 D wheat penny be worth? You might be surprised to learn that while most of these coins are worth just a few cents, the rare examples with errors or those in mint state condition can fetch incredible amounts at auctions or through dealers. In fact, a 1945 D wheat penny in near-perfect condition or with a double die error could be worth a whopping $500,000, that's right, $500,000 for a single penny. It's hard to believe that such a small coin could carry such a massive value, but in the world of rare coins, anything is possible. The rarity of these coins, especially those with errors or in pristine condition, makes them highly sought after by serious collectors. If you happen to have a 1945 D wheat penny tucked away in a drawer or hidden in your coin jar, it could be the find of a lifetime. For those of you who are thinking about diving into the world of coin collecting or maybe just trying to find out if you've got any hidden treasures lying around, the 1945 D wheat penny is a great example of why it's so important to pay attention to the details. The coin collecting world is full of stories of people who find a rare coin in the most unexpected places, whether it's at a garage sale, in a family heirloom collection, or even in a jar of loose change. If you've got a 1945 D wheat penny and you think it might be special, it's definitely worth having it professionally graded by a reputable coin grading service. The grade can have a huge impact on the coin's value, and an expert opinion can help determine whether you have a true treasure on your hands. So, next time you're searching through your collection or looking at a jar full of old coins, remember to keep an eye out for the 1945 D wheat penny. With its historical significance, potential errors, and pristine condition examples, this little coin could be the ticket to a major payday. Third expensive coin, we're taking a look at one of the most fascinating coins in American history, the 1950 D wheat penny. This seemingly modest penny has captured the attention of collectors for decades, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why it's worth far more than just 1 cent. First, let's take a trip back to the year 1950. The United States was in the midst of the post-World War II economic boom. The country was recovering from the effects of the war, and the mint was hard at work producing coins to meet the demands of a growing economy. In 1950, the U.S. Mint was still producing the iconic wheat penny, a coin that had been in circulation since 1909. The wheat penny, known for its classic design featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and 2 stalks of wheat on the reverse, was one of the most widely circulated coins in America. The 1950 D wheat penny, which was minted at the Denver Mint, is often overlooked by casual collectors. However, there's more to this coin than meets the eye. It's important to remember that the value of a coin isn't always about how rare it is to find, but rather about its condition and any potential minting errors that may have occurred during production. Most of the 1950 D wheat pennies in circulation today are in pretty worn condition. After all, they've been in circulation for over 70 years. These coins are often found with signs of wear, scratches, and discoloration, which can lower their value. However, what makes this particular penny so intriguing is that there are rare examples of the 1950 D wheat penny that have survived the years in unbelievably pristine condition. Coins that have never been used in circulation and remain in what's known as mint state are highly prized by collectors. These coins are often carefully stored and kept in pristine conditions, without any signs of wear or handling. If you happen to come across a 1950 D wheat penny in mint state, you could be holding on to a valuable treasure, but the true value of this coin doesn't stop at condition. In the world of coin collecting, minting errors can make a coin worth a fortune. The 1950 D wheat penny is no exception. Some of the most valuable examples of this coin are those that have minting errors such as double die or off-center strike. A double die error occurs when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly during the minting process, creating a design with a noticeable doubling effect. This can happen on various parts of the coin, like the date or the word Liberty. If you find a 1950 D wheat penny with such an error, it could be worth far more than its face value. These types of errors are rare and highly sought after by collectors who specialize in error coins. Another type of error that can occur is the off-center strike, which happens when the die doesn't strike the coin in the proper alignment. This creates a coin with a design that's shifted to one side, making it appear off-center. Off-center strikes are especially collectible because they are one-of-a-kind pieces that can't be reproduced. If you happen to find a 1950 D wheat penny with an off-center strike, you could be looking at a highly valuable coin. So, what makes this 1950 D wheat penny so special? It's not just about finding a coin in great condition. it's about finding one with an error or in an almost perfect state. When it comes to the world of rare coins, collectors are always looking for those coins that stand out from the rest. The 1950 wheat penny, while not necessarily the rarest coin in the world, has the potential to become one of the most valuable pennies in circulation if you're lucky enough to find a special specimen. Now, let's talk about the value of the 1950 wheat penny. You might be wondering just how much a coin like this could be worth. Well, while most of these pennies are worth their face value of 1 cent, the rare examples with minting errors or those in mint condition can fetch a truly impressive price. A 1950 wheat penny in mint state condition or one with a minting error can be worth $420,000, yes, you heard that right, $420,000 for a single 1950 wheat penny. It's hard to believe that such a small coin could carry such a big price tag, but in the world of coin collecting, rarity and condition are everything. If you happen to stumble upon one of these rare specimens, you could be holding on to a fortune. The key takeaway here is that the 1950 wheat penny is far more than just a piece of currency, it's a collector's treasure. Whether you find one in mint condition, discover a rare minting error, or simply stumble upon a well-preserved example, this little penny could be the key to unlocking a huge payday. So, next time you're digging through your old coin collection or flipping through a jar of change, keep an eye out for the 1950 wheat penny. With its historical significance, potential minting errors, and the possibility of finding a rare gem, this penny could turn out to be far more valuable than you ever imagined. Especially, we're taking a closer look at one of the most intriguing coins from the mid-20th century, the 1954 wheat penny. Now, I know what you're thinking, it's just a penny, right? Well, hold on to your hats because by the end of this video, you'll see why this coin is far more than just a simple piece of currency. Let's set the scene for 1954. It was a year of post-World War II recovery and prosperity in the United States. The country was in the midst of a booming economy, and everyday life was returning to normal after the chaos of the war years. For coin collectors, 1954 was a year like any other, with the U.S. Mint producing millions of coins, including the ever-popular wheat penny. The wheat penny, which had been circulating for decades, was nearing the end of its run, as it would soon be replaced by the memorial cent in 1959. However, the 1954 wheat penny stands out for a few key reasons, especially in the world of collectors. First of all, the 1954 represents the Denver Mint's contribution to the production of these coins that were widely used by the public. And while there are plenty of 1954 wheat pennies out there, not all of them are created equal. In fact, some of these coins have become incredibly sought after by collectors, especially when they're in outstanding condition or contain certain minting errors. When you're talking about rare coins, it's all about the condition. While most 1954 wheat pennies you'll find are in less than ideal shape due to the many years they've been circulating, the truly valuable coins are those that have survived in uncirculated condition. These are coins that were never used in daily transactions, and they're often found in pristine condition with little to no signs of wear. If you happen to come across a 1954 wheat penny that looks as though it just came out of the mint, you've found something very special. And these coins can be worth a lot more than just a penny, but it's not just the condition that makes the 1954 wheat penny so valuable. Collectors also love to hunt for coins with minting errors. These errors, which occur during the production process, make certain coins stand out from the rest, and they can significantly increase a coin's value. One of the most desirable types of errors is the double die error. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly, causing a noticeable doubling of the design elements. If you find a 1954 wheat penny with a double die error, particularly on the date or the word Liberty, you could be sitting on a real treasure. Another type of error to keep an eye out for is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin isn't aligned properly during the minting process, resulting in an image that's shifted to one side of the coin. Off-center coins are highly prized because they're unique, and no two are exactly alike. If you find a 1954 wheat penny with an off-center strike, you could be holding on to a valuable collector's item. So, why exactly is the 1954 D wheat penny so sought after by collectors? It's all about rarity and condition. While this coin was minted in large quantities, over 200 million in total, finding one in excellent condition, especially with a minting error, is much rarer than you might think. Coins that have been carefully preserved or those that exhibit rare minting errors are incredibly valuable because of their uniqueness. Now, let's talk about the big question: how much is the 1954 D wheat penny worth? The answer might surprise you. While most of these pennies are worth just a few cents, the rare examples with minting errors or those in mint state condition can be worth a small fortune. So, just how much could you get for a 1954 D wheat penny in top-notch condition or with a rare error? The price can skyrocket to an astounding $370,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $370,000 for a single 1954 D wheat penny. It may sound unbelievable, but in the world of rare coins, it's entirely possible. The right coin in the right condition, or with a minting error, can fetch a price that's far beyond its original value. This just goes to show how important it is to pay attention to the details when it comes to coin collecting. So, if you have a 1954 D wheat penny sitting in your collection, don't just assume it's worth only a few cents. Take a closer look. Is it in great condition? Does it have any minting errors, like a double die or off-center strike? If you're not sure, it might be worth having the coin professionally graded. A certified coin can be worth much more than an ungraded one, and it can open the door to collectors who are willing to pay top dollar for a rare find. Last unique coin, we have an absolute gem on our hands, the 1957 D wheat penny. If you're a fan of the classic wheat penny design, or just a collector on the hunt for a high-value treasure, you'll want to stick around. By the end of this video, you'll be looking at your change in a whole new way, and you might just be holding onto a fortune. To set the stage, let's talk about the year 1957. This was the final year for the wheat penny before it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial Cent in 1959. The coin had been around since 1909, and in 1957, it had already become a well-known symbol of American currency. But what makes the 1957 D version so special? Well, the story behind this coin is one of both history and rarity, and that's where things get really interesting. In 1957, the United States was living in a post-World War II era of prosperity. The economy was growing, and life was returning to normal after the years of wartime rationing. The U.S. Mint had a steady production of coins, and the wheat penny was still being widely circulated. The D mint mark on the 1957 D wheat penny means it was minted at the Denver Mint, one of the busiest mints in the country at the time. So, it wasn't exactly rare in terms of production volume. However, the rarity of this coin comes into play when we start talking about condition and errors. Like many other coins of the time, the 1957 D wheat penny was used in everyday transactions, meaning that most of them circulated heavily. This led to wear and tear, and it's common to find these pennies in less than ideal condition today. But here's the catch: a mint condition 1957 D wheat penny is a completely different story. Finding a well-preserved coin in uncirculated or near-perfect condition is extremely rare. These coins were not stored with care, and the chances of one surviving without any scratches, discoloration, or damage are slim. This is where the value of the 1957 D wheat penny skyrockets. When you find a 1957 D wheat penny that's in mint state, you're looking at a coin that could be worth far more than its face value of just 1 cent. But that's not all. In the world of coin collecting, mint errors are the real game changers. Coins that have minting errors, whether it's a double die, off-center strike, or some other anomaly, become highly sought after by collectors. These errors are considered one of a kind, making them incredibly valuable. So, what are some of the minting errors that could make a 1957 D wheat penny even more valuable? One of the most coveted errors for collectors is the double die error. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly during the minting process, creating a doubled image. If you come across a 1957 D wheat penny with a doubled date, Liberty, or I in God We Trust, you may have a coin that's worth far more than you might imagine. Another error to keep an eye out for is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not perfectly aligned with the die, causing the design to be struck off-center. Off-center coins are always in high demand because they are unique, with each one being a distinct error. A 1957 D-wheat penny with an off-center strike could be worth a significant amount more than a regular coin in excellent condition. So, why does this particular penny hold so much value, even though it wasn't the rarest coin minted? Well, it's all about condition and uniqueness. Coins that were made in large quantities but have survived in excellent condition or with rare minting errors are the ones that catch the eye of collectors, and that's where the real value lies. Now, let's talk about the all-important question: how much can you expect to sell a 1957 D-wheat penny for? While most of these pennies are worth just a few cents, some of the rarer specimens can fetch extraordinary prices. If you happen to find one in mint state condition, or with a rare mint error, it could be worth an astounding $280,000, that's right, $280,000 for a single coin. It may sound unbelievable, but in the world of coin collecting, this is a very real possibility. The market for rare and error coins is constantly growing, and collectors are always on the lookout for those rare finds that can make their collections truly one-of-a-kind. So, the next time you're going through your change or searching through old coin collections, make sure to keep an eye out for the 1957 D-wheat penny. If it's in great condition, or better yet, has a minting error, you could be holding on to a treasure that could change your life. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you learned something new today and want to explore more about rare and valuable coins, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell so you never miss out on another coin discovery. You never know when your next rare coin might turn out to be worth a small fortune. Happy hunting, and happy collecting.